Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Let me know where you're tuning in from when you get here. I am in Minnesota, per usual, and it is a snowstorm today, let me tell you. So if you're also in Minnesota, let me know what you're doing today. If you're cozy, if you're drinking tea, if you've lit candles. This live stream will be about exquisite self-care. And I think it's a really important topic. I think many people know that self-care is good for them and know it with their mind, but actually have a hard time implementing it into their lives for a variety of reasons, especially high achievers. And if I haven't met you over the web yet or in person, my name is Amanda Levesque. I'm the host of this channel, Science and Magic, and I really like to use both really grounded nervous system techniques and more whimsical, spiritual, magical lens to help high achievers find a more delicious way to work and a more delicious way to live, and humans for that matter. We all have a little bit of high achieving aspects within us. We live in a very high achieving society, most of us do. So I'll start by defining self-care in three different ways, because I think it's a really general term. Like, how do we care for ourselves? The first is grooming. So these are things that contribute to our outward appearance and help us to look polished. So you could think of manicures, getting your nails done, pedicures, putting makeup on, taking the time to try a new way of putting your eyeshadow on or doing your brows. It could be going and getting a blowout or getting your hair cut, maybe dressing in really cute outfits, taking the time to invest into your style, to decide how you want to present yourself in the world. And I think grooming is important. I mean, it's how we are moving through the world, how we are showcasing this beautiful body we're in. And it's more of an outward way, though. It's not this inside out. It's like outward in. And I think often grooming, if you think about health and using organic materials and taking care of the cells of the body, it's not necessarily contributing in that way. There are non-toxic nail polish brands and there are non-toxic makeup brands, but in general, these things don't necessarily add to our vitality. They polish us, but they don't add to vitality. So I call that grooming. The second is natural beauty care. So these are things that contribute to that inside out glow, that inside out beauty. Things like getting facials, brushing and oiling your skin, moisturizing your skin, taking long Epsom salt baths, anything with massage or body work of any kind, whether it's self-massage, whether it's getting a massage. I've been really into gua sha. If anyone is familiar with that, it's taking this really beautiful stone and working the tissues of your body with the stone. It's drinking clean water. It's eating good, nutritious food. All of these things contribute to the health from the inside out. They help you to glow. Your eyes start to sparkle. Your skin starts to radiate well-being. So we have grooming, which is that more outside in, polishing, making sure that everything is presenting well to society. And then we have natural beauty care, which is how are you glowing? How are you radiating? Are your organs healthy? Is your skin healthy? It really creates magnetism. And the third is nervous system care. And there's a bit of crossover here between natural beauty care and nervous system care. But nervous system care is more working with the nervous system, tipping it out of a state of fight or flight and into a state of rest and digest, into a state of repair, of restoration, of rejuvenation. And many people in our society are in a state of fight or flight. And it can be really hard to find time to connect with the body if the body doesn't feel safe. And I like to work in this realm with my clients first, and then we work on the natural beauty care. Now, if you do self-massage or go get a massage, that can contribute to nervous system care. That can help you get into your body. Nervous system care is also working through trauma. So it's working with a professional somatic experience practitioner. It's working with a therapist, and it's helping your body to feel safe. I think it's so important. Many, many people, when they think of self-care, will keep it at a surface level and say, okay, well, I'm going to go to the salon and get my nails done. Beautiful. That's a form of self-care. But you can have a perfectly manicured set of nails and still walk through the world feeling like you're closed up from the inside out, that you're clenched, that your jaw's tight, that your brow is furrowed. And you can feel uncomfortable in your body. And that shows, that radiates. So today we're going to talk about this. My idea for this live stream came from a series of polls that I hosted on my community tab of my YouTube channel. This is my second solo live stream ever, by the way, and I can get kind of nervous doing live streams. So I really appreciate all of you tuning in, and feel free to say hi in the chat. I really like that. Also, if you feel like this video is offering you something, give me a like. That really helps to show the video to a broader audience. But the first poll this is actually a year ago. It says, what excites you most within the spectrum of science and magic? So 24% said, I want to understand my nervous system in a deeper way. That makes sense. That's one of my specialties. That would hit on the science portion of science and magic. And then 14% said, I enjoy mystical topics like spirituality, magic, cosmos. So I thought that was interesting, that 14%, that's what they wanted when the channel itself is called Science and Magic. And the question was within the spectrum of science and magic. And there were a couple of other options, but the one that won was, I crave tangible opportunities to sink into my body, 38%. And I was fascinated with this because this is what I offer. And I know that people love to talk about it, but to actually sit down and do it, there's a lot of blocks. There's a lot of things that stop people from doing it. And I want to discuss those things. And I want to know what your blocks are. And we can kind of have this be an interactive conversation if you'd like as well. And within the spectrum of science and magic, the body is both science and magic. There is a lot that we know, and science has offered us amazing insights into the human body. And yet there's a lot that we don't know. And I studied neuroscience in my undergrad, and I was continually amazed by, and I still am, I do continuing ed in various forms of hands-on body work, craniosacral therapy. I find that the more that we know, the more we actually don't know, the more that there's mystery there. And I was both surprised by this poll and also really excited and encouraged. And then a month later, I decided to say, I gave the results of that poll and I put another one up and I said, can you let me know what challenges you face when seeking to connect to your body? So I put some blocks up there, and 30% said, I'm so busy. I have very little time for myself. We're going to address that one. The number one at 50% of responses was a lack of self-discipline. I always find an excuse not to connect. So I thought that was really interesting. A lack of self-discipline. I always find an excuse not to connect. And that made me start to think of the excuses. And I have several that I've experienced myself. And I also, I work with clients and have heard their excuses. So I'm familiar. But if you have an excuse that you give yourself when you know that that it would be beneficial for you to take care of yourself in some way, Go ahead and share that in the chat, in the comments. What is your excuse? I also thought it was really interesting that a lack of self-discipline, because this channel draws a lot of high achievers, high performers, really type A individuals who are incredibly disciplined in some areas of their life. But for some reason, self-care, sinking into the body, taking care of the nervous system, taking care of health and vitality, there's a lack of discipline. And I am on a path of figuring out, of offering different ways for high achievers to really sink into their bodies, to remove blocks, to make it as easy as possible. And I will be continuing to figure this out. This is a lifelong career for me. And then the third poll that I wanted to share, which I thought was really interesting, this was 3 months ago. I asked, what kind of videos are you most excited about from me? Because I had hit 1,000 subscribers at that time. So I was just kind of getting a feel for what the interest was. So at 23%, nervous system care for high achievers. That's great. That makes a lot of sense. Again, that's kind of what I draw. And there was 26% self-care rituals. So morning and evening routines, biohacking tricks. I really love biohacking. These are things like using red light therapy on the face, cleaning the water, having hydrogen infused water, things like that. I love biohacking. And I would say that self-care rituals like this are mostly in that category of natural beauty care, not necessarily nervous system care, though there is that crossover between the two. And then 40%, animating feminine energy through the body. And I, again, found this fascinating. Feminine energy, and I've done some videos on feminine energy. It's not my 100% my area of expertise. There's incredible feminine energy coaches out there. But I will say that feminine energy lives in the body. It's getting out of the head and into the body. And it made sense with this interest, and I crave opportunities to sink into my body. On that same poll, I have yoga and meditation embodiment practices. 3% of people selected that. That was the lowest. And again, this intrigued me given that the first poll was I crave opportunities to sink into my body. And I find that there is this tension in the work that I offer, that I can record a yoga practice or a meditation practice, and I can record a more podcast style talk on feminine energy. And that talk will get way more views than the actual yoga class. Often I actually have a yoga class about how to receive, of how to lean back and receive. I have a yoga practice for projectors to amplify their glow, human design projectors. But by far, the classes, the talking, the learning, the heady stuff gets more views than the actual embodiment. And so I just want to name that. If this is you, if this is something that resonates with you, that, wow, I am way more likely to click on something where that keeps me in my head versus that sinks me into my body, it just might be something to sit with and to consider and be curious about. And we'll talk about some blocks. But this is really the edge of the work that I offer the world and what I'm curious about. We know that we want to sink into the body. We know that feminine energy exists in the body. We know that we're interested in animating feminine energy, and yet not interested in the actual practices. We just want to learn. And again, this is speaking in general. I know that there's several people out there who do an amazing job of connecting into their body. So let's talk about some excuses that I hear. The first one was addressed in the poll. I don't have enough time. Okay, I hear you. Life is busy. I'm going to give you some tough love. You have to make the time. You just have to. There's no other way. And if you listen to this and you're someone who's really busy, I'm sure you manage a calendar I don't know, maybe you have a family, you have kiddos, you have a partner. I'm sure you manage a lot. Why can't you add self-care into that schedule? What actually stops you? You prioritize other people's celebrations. You prioritize work. Of course, we all need to, make money to sustain ourselves. You prioritize your kids' activities. You prioritize other people's demands on your life. You prioritize checking things off of a to-do list. But when it comes to self-care, to enhancing your vitality, your natural beauty from the inside out, to feeling good, I don't have enough time. It's an excuse. And that might trigger some of you, and you might feel yourself getting irritated at me saying that. Again, just notice what that does in your body. The first piece of advice I would give is think of the bookends of your day. So morning and night. Days can be really busy. And yes, you can do some things self-care wise in the middle of your day, but it's more likely that you'll get into a rhythm and routine if you create something before you go to bed or when you wake up. Most of us are either morning people or night people. And just know that for yourself. For me, I love my self-care in the morning. I love starting my day off the right way. I feel like my mind is really clear in the morning. And so I have a pretty good ritual in the morning. I don't just get up, open my computer, and start working. I actually pour myself a delicious hot beverage, and I light a candle, and I do some sort of work with spirit. So I have a prayer journal I use. Maybe I'll do a meditation with affirmations to start my day the right way. I also know my body isn't very awake in the morning. My mind is. So I'm not someone who goes into a yoga flow right away in the morning. For me, that's more at night. But I've worked with parents who are also professionals who absolutely cannot find time with their kiddo waking up early in the morning. And so I said, why don't you just wake up 10 minutes earlier before your kid wakes up? Go into the shower, just pop into the shower, have a hot shower, have some affirmations, feel the water on your skin, feel refreshed. That's your time. And just start there. And this is what he did. And it started to create this landscape of like, okay, this time is not just for my kid right away, but I'm starting this day off in my body and my energy and my mind. And then from there, you start to edge out more time, slowly but surely. So maybe that looks like then there's a meditation, but you stay in the bathroom so the kid's still sleeping, wake up a little 5 minutes earlier. I really believe that sleep is important. It's so important. But honestly, losing 15 minutes in the morning to have a meditation and embodiment practice, I think that's so worth it. Or you can do it at night, creating a delicious nighttime ritual for yourself. Something that I started doing is an oil massage at night. So I will go into the bathroom, light a candle, and rub oil all over my body, and while saying affirmations. And it just feels like it nourishes every part of me. It brings me back into my body. And then it's funny, it's another shower example, but I have a nice shower afterwards, and it feels like it cleanses my day. This takes 10 minutes. Then what I do a lot of work with clients. Okay, so you're going to go to bed anyways. So you're laying in bed, and most of my clients have a hard time falling asleep because their mind is racing. They have so much to do. So rather than lay in bed with your thoughts spinning, be proactive, put on a meditation, a body scan, and lay there in bed, soaking in your body, feeling your hands, feeling your heart, feeling your hips, feeling your feet. If you have a partner, just tell your partner, can you not disturb me during this time? I need this time for myself. Again, that's 10 minutes. So there are ways that you can start to edge out time for yourself. And this takes some upfront investment maybe. So just like you maybe plan your whole schedule on Sunday night, you look at your calendar, schedule it in, make it a priority. If there's a yoga or dance class or fitness class that you've been wanting to go to, take some upfront time, look it up, put it in your schedule, coordinate rides, coordinate around it, and just make it a priority. You just have to. Many of you have been knowing that you should do this for a long time now and just keep putting it off. And you know better. I know you know better. What will happen is that you continue to show up for yourself in this way, and it starts to feel good. And then you can't miss it. You won't miss it for anything because you're like, I need this. I'm a better person because of it. I'm clearer-minded. I'm more present. I'm investing into my body. And when it starts to feel good, it'll be easier to schedule. But for now, you just have to do it. You have to prioritize it. Something else that might help is if you change your environment. And especially if you are in a busy household, if you just get out and go somewhere, that can be really powerful. So going on a walk, getting out of the house and just going on a nice long walk for 10 minutes, clearing your mind, getting in your body, seeing your environment. Some of us just don't have that luxury of being able to like close the door and not be bothered. Ideally, you want to not be bothered. Second excuse I hear a lot is choice fatigue. So this is understandable. There's so much information out there and there's so many options. Plethora of yoga studios, a plethora of gyms, so many online classes, so many podcasts, so much content. And so it can feel like, where do I start? Like, I'm just too busy to even have energy to even decide. This will be another upfront investment. So follow your intuition, what you're naturally drawn to, follow recommendations from other people, and you want to find what you like. It's not going to be the same for every person. Different people are going to be drawn to different experiences. Many people who follow my channel know that I love dancing so much. And so I go to dances where I can partner dance and I can be a follow. And that helps me get out of my head, into my body. It helps me surrender. It helps me move. It helps me feel sensual. That's not for everybody. Some people really enjoy restorative yoga class, or we're going to talk about this, exercise. But exercise is a form of nervous system care, but I think it's like a hardcore sprint or, lifting. I think we're a little too heavy on that in our society. So I'm going to address that in a little bit. But notice how your body feels after you try it. So rather than just think, okay, well, I got this done, I tried this, take a minute and just feel into your body, be like, how did that feel? And then if you liked it, try it again. If you want to give it another shot, try it again. But you do have to try a few different things. I'm going to put some of my yoga classes in the video description that are online. They're on my YouTube. I also have this awesome meditation album called Neurosound. And I work with a live cello player in that, and we recorded it live. It's so beautiful. It's open to the public. So I'm going to just help address that choice fatigue. If you like kind of my energy and the way that I speak and offer information, you might enjoy my practices as well. So maybe just go there. But ask around, ask people in your life who you look up to for their vitality, for their peace, for their calm, for the way that they move through the world, for their inner glow, and see what they do and try it. And it's going to take some energy to try it. It's different. It's shaking things up, but you have to start somewhere. The third is I can't sit still. My thoughts race. I feel nervous to connect with my body for some reason. This is very, very common. I hear high achievers, high performers all the time say, I can't turn my mind off. Your mind will never turn off. It's just not the way the mind works. The mind is here to think. Thoughts are going to race. The practice of mindfulness, of taking care of the nervous system, is about no longer identifying with the thoughts and getting swept away in the story and the drama of them. It's being able to separate yourself, put your attention, your consciousness into the body. Now, if we're triggered, if the nervous system is activated, the thoughts are going to spin. They're going to race. And there are some things we can do to slow that racing down. But unless you're a meditation master, and have even meditation masters have thoughts. You might experience like a brief moment of no thoughts, total oneness. But I'm telling you, the brain and the mind are designed to think. So just let's get that out of the belief system that in order to do this right, I have to not think or I have to have slow thoughts. That's not the case. What these things speak to me is nervous system activation. So the nervous system's in a state of fight or flight. And how I work with clients for this and what I suggest is if you're feeling anxious, if you have a hard time sitting still, do movement first, which I know is easy for a lot of you. You like to go to like a cycling class or go on a run. That's very, very common for type A workaholics. And it's smart. You're burning off energy, adrenaline. But what this demographic, what this archetype doesn't do is rest afterwards. So there's no way that in the middle of a workday that's of high demand on you and your energy and your attention, you have a million things going through your brain, that you're going to be able to sit down, close your eyes, and meditate. There's no way. It's going to be so uncomfortable. So don't even try it. It's too much. I mean, unless you want to, that's a different form of edginess or intensity. Instead, do your exercise. And so this could be your cycling class, your Peloton, your whatever your hardcore exercise is. And if you don't, just move a little bit. So go for a little jog or a run, do an aerobics class, do something to get your heart rate up, to discharge energy, and then carve out time to be still, to let your body recover. And this will start to tip the nervous system into a state of rejuvenation. It'll be easier for you to be still. I would suggest my nervous system massage, which I'll link below on the Neurosound album. Pull it up ahead of time, get it on your phone, put your earbuds in, go somewhere quiet, sit or lay and just experience. This would also be a time to do a restorative yoga class, which is really slow stretching. I'll include a free one below as well of mine. It could be 20 minutes, but do something to restore afterwards. Otherwise, you will be burning out. Our bodies are not designed to just go, 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 rush, rush, rush. We need balance. And that balance takes a bit of discipline in the beginning, but it's so rewarding once you're done with it. And another thing is just seek support. If you're someone who just can't seem to sit still, hire support to help you. You could actually go to a physical restorative yoga class, for example, or a physical community meditation group. And that support, that community structure, that container, it helps you, because when you're by yourself, you'll probably just get up and go do something, clean the kitchen or respond to emails. But when you're in a group setting, it's a little bit more edgy to get up in the middle of that quiet and walk out the door. You're kind of taking a stance. So that's an option too. But I want this perspective of like, I can't sit still, my thoughts race, to have a bit more strategy behind it. Move first, then relax. Know that your nervous system is activated. The other thing that I hear is I feel nervous to connect with my body for some reason. That was on the poll of like a block. A few people said, I feel nervous to connect with my body for some reason. That's real. I mean, trauma is stored in the body, and being in the mind can be a beautiful place to be if our experience of our body feels overwhelming and feels like it's beyond our capacity to be with. So if that's the case for you, seek out support, seek out a trauma-sensitive yoga instructor, seek out a professional to help you be in the body, to connect with your body and to breathe with the body and start to move some of this stored trauma, this stored discomfort. I do think we all have the capacity to move through the body. I don't want to say we all have it on our own, because sometimes it just tips us over. So make sure you have resources around you if that's your intuition. And also know that this is your beautiful body and you can be still with it, and it's going to be a journey, and little by little, there's no need to just bust through these things right away, but just start the journey, start the process. The next block that I hear is self-care isn't productive, and I have too much to do. Self-care isn't productive. Okay, really? I know you know that's not true. Like, just sit and think about it. Do you really believe that self-care isn't productive? People who follow this channel tend to be very high-performing, intelligent individuals. And no, it's not productive as in it's going to check off your to-do list or clear your email inbox. Self-care plays the long game, though. And to move your life forward in a way that's in alignment with your heart and with your body, that's the long game. And that's what self-care, that's what that inside out glow, that inside out beauty, that nervous system care does. Self-care creates clarity. It enhances your focus. It helps you think big picture. It gets you out of this reactive mode of having to do these like small things, check off your list, not really move these big vision concepts forward. You think of things in new ways. And this is because the brainwave frequency goes from a high state of stress. So literally, when you're stressed out, your brainwaves are moving at a really quick rate in your body. And I mean, to be alert is a good thing during the day. Like, we want to be alert to our external environment. To be stressed means it's really high frequency. That's not advantageous unless you're actually working with a physical threat to your life outside of you. But when you start to work with your nervous system, when you take the time to breathe, to be in the body, to slow down, the brainwave frequency slows down and you start to feel more creative. You start to think of things in different ways. This is why, I don't know about you, but for me, I found that like when I'm in the shower or when I'm driving or when I'm in a yoga class, not trying to think about anything, the best, most creative ideas come to me. And that's because I'm in a state of flow, a state of lower brainwave frequency. So self-care, taking the time to meditate, to nourish the nervous system, to get out of that high frequency brainwave state, that will help you to think in a different way. And what could take a 4-hour brainstorming session with Venn diagrams and a mastermind, an idea could come to you in 30 seconds. If you're in a certain state, it could just be dropped into your consciousness. That's productivity, in my opinion. Another thing is that self-care, it enhances your magnetism. I mean, think of someone who really nourishes themselves. They glow. They walk into a room and it's like, whew, inside out. Just, there's something about their energy, the way they move, the calm. Our biology is drawn to the calm in other people. That feels soothing. That calms our nervous system. Not to mention composure. Someone who can remain composed in a stressful situation is an extremely magnetic person. It's like that royalty feeling, like king, queen energy. Like, I've got this. And that's because I'm in my body now, even though these circumstances aren't ideal, I can think clearly and I'm going to direct the situation in a good way. That's what self-care gets you. Specifically, nervous system care. Nervous system care gets you that composure and that inside out beauty care that I spoke about in the beginning of the video, that those rituals, the things that help your skin glow, your eyes be bright. That's what helps build that magnetism. Because I think you can have the most beautiful makeup on, the most beautiful nails, the cutest outfits, and yet not be magnetic. Someone can say that's a cute outfit or I like your hair, but to really be magnetic, it takes caring for your nervous system and practicing that inside out beauty care. The last one I want to talk about that I hear a lot that I think is actually kind of unique. It's something that I haven't heard a lot of people speak about. And it's something that I found true in my life is I love my work too much to take a break, to stop. And I felt this before because I love what I do. And that's not going to be the same for everyone listening to this video. Some of us love our careers more than others. But I find that when I'm in flow, when I'm like in a project and feeling so filled with inspiration, the last thing I want to do is take a break and go to a yoga class. Like, I'm like, no, I'm being so productive right now. Why would I do that? I don't think you need to stop. When you're in that state of flow, like just ride it. Like sometimes, I mean, I've even worked. I'm not really a night person, but I have worked up until midnight before because I was just on such a ride and I just let myself do that. Now, if you're working until midnight 5 days out of the week, that's not sustainable. But also have some flexibility and flow with this. Know that like when you're in that state, when you're feeling creative, just do that. Know that your nervous system, okay, yes, we have this spirit that can work and that can feel so fulfilled, but your nervous system, your physical body, your animal body is going to crash. And set aside time for yourself to sleep for an extra 2 hours or clear your schedule and meetings the next day. So just be strategic about this because I find that, several of my clients are amazing at what they do. They love what they do. And they ride those creative waves without any space to recover. They just keep pushing the next day. So let yourself have that inspiration and then give yourself the grace of nourishment. It will serve you so well. Another thing you can do is just set your schedule ahead of time. We talked about this in the beginning with the block of time. Know that you're someone who loves the work that you do. Know that you're playing a long game of taking care of yourself, of evoking inner magnetism, and make sure that you bookend your days and your nights. Like I said, I'm going to include a few free meditation and yoga classes below that I have for the public. I also do this with clients. I work one-on-one with clients. I'm doing a group coaching course in the new year, actually on manifestation, but on manifestation that includes self-care, that doesn't brush it by, that actually creates it as the center point of creation, that includes nervous system care. I have an online membership program called Science and Magic, and there's a plethora of pre-recorded classes from all sorts of instructors that are ready to go. There's yoga, there's meditation, there's EFT tapping, there's seasonal living advice, there's embodiment, there's movement classes, and they're anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour. So all different timing. Part of the membership is that you get a complimentary 15-minute call with me where I will hear what you're interested in and make specific suggestions for you to eliminate that choice fatigue. I will include that link below in the comments and the show notes for Science and Magic. I'm also offering an end of the year special, 50% off for an annual membership. It is a steal of a deal. I don't offer it any other point throughout the year. So if this is something that you're interested in, that you want some classes, some guidance right away, it's a really, really easy way to just sign up, go do it, take a class now. So I hope that you enjoyed this live stream, and I thank you so, so much for tuning in. Please, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the comments. And again, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel for more. Thank you for tuning into my second solo live stream ever. I've been doing hosting conversations, but this is my second solo live stream. And I wish you well. I wish you self-care. I wish you that inner outer beauty and magnetism, and all the best to you uncovering your blocks and working through those blocks. So thank you so much.